My name's Lateesha Jeffrey. I'm 28 from Darwin, Northern Territory. I'm a single mother to a 2.5-year-old. Her name's Kamara. And I am very passionate about education. So I work at Tamimmin College in Girls Academy as a program manager. Very passionate about education and studying. Almost finished my teaching degree as well. So, yeah. Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. Definitely Nicki Minaj. Beach or waterfall? I would definitely say beach. I'm a beach girl. Bungee jumping or rock climbing? Rock climbing if I'm climbing up a waterfall that I can jump off. Cake or ice cream? I think I would choose... Can we choose both? I would like them both together. Chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream. London or New York? Not really a traveller, but if I was to choose, probably New York, yeah. My daughter, definitely. Water, food. I hate to say it, but I do have to say my phone. Like, I love work and I'm very organised and I've got checklists and my shopping lists and all sorts of stuff on my phone. And my family, like my mum and dad and my brothers. I couldn't do life without having them by my side. If I had an all-expense paid trip and 3 people I'd take, definitely my daughter, Kamara. I'd take my mum as well, because she needs to get out of Darwin at some point. And I'd love to take her out of there. And one of my best friends, Jaylene, yeah. It's very different with me, I think. My identity, I know I've had people question and challenge my Aboriginal identity and, whether I am or not. And it's interesting because you have so many other cultures. I'm Aboriginal, but I'm Hungarian as well. I've got Filipino and Chinese, but I identify as Aboriginal because that's who I am. And I think a way that I describe it is it's a way of my being. It's the way I walk. It's the way I talk. It's the way I interact with people as well. And I think you notice it more in the workplace, I guess, and just in the outside world, how you are grown up with different values. Whether, unfortunately, I'm not very connected with my culture, so it's very lost. So I'm Wollonga and Kukach. And we weren't actually able to grow up with that. So I think, but I can still tell how different we have been brought up and, what our values are. And I think family is one of the big things as well, that they help me to define who I am. And then I think just things that happen along the way, your experiences in life as well, that, that's how you create your identity. And it's not about... I know one of the big quotes that I've always stuck by is life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. So I've also started to create my own identity. So you have your cultural identity and then you also have your own identity, so who you want to be. And then now, especially as a mum, I'm who do I want to be for my daughter? How can I be better for my daughter? I just want to be a really strong Aboriginal woman who not only empowers myself, but empowers people around me. So I don't like working just in my own silo. I want to capacity build people around me. I think it's really important for us to have a safe place as Aboriginal women because it's a place for us to grow. I think sometimes when we're put in certain situations, we're unable to grow. And it's just our own, education or what we've been able to be mentored and guided growing up. And it's, having, that safe space to be who you are and be proud of who you are and be grounded. I think with Girls Academy, one of my big things as well is generating pride as an Aboriginal woman. I think sometimes, some young girls actually don't feel proud and, it might be that they just don't know much about their culture or their background. But even me, I don't know much about mine, but I'm still a very proud Aboriginal woman because it's who I am and it's my identity and I know it's what makes me different to the next person. Do I ever find it challenging to describe who I am to people? I think yes, sometimes, and it does change depending on the context that you're in as well. But in saying that, I know the last couple of months I've had a lot of personal growth, and it's helped me to define who I am and to be proud of who I am as well. Like, that was a big step to actually be able to acknowledge in myself, like, hey, like, you're doing really good considering your circumstances. And I guess when you're a parent, you have a daughter, you kind of have more purpose. So it's not just about you, it's about this beautiful child that you've brought into the world and how you can be a better version of yourself for her. Yeah, that's all I can say on that bit. With sisterhood, like, obviously I've got 5 brothers, so I never had any sisters, but I've had, plenty of really strong women in my life that I've chosen as my sisterhood. So they've assisted me to, like, and guided me throughout my life. And you kind of take things that you need from those kind of people. So whether it's that empowerment, whether it's work mentoring, whether it's sport mentoring, like, I know with all the mentors that I have in my life, I've just taken bits and pieces from them. Like with my mum and dad, I take different things from both of them as well. But having a sisterhood, just to help guide you throughout life, and you share different experiences, you've got different challenges, and knowing what I know now, a message I would tell my 12-year-old self is to just not be scared, not be fearful of disappointing other people, and putting yourself and your needs first. I think a lot of the time, because I have such a caring and nurturing nature, you tend to put other people's needs and, I guess, wants before your own. But yeah, always constantly changing and wanting to be better, and your identity shifting. Like, I haven't always been a mum. I would have had dreams to be an AFL player, but, I'm a mum and that's my priority. And, building a life, I guess, an empire for me and my daughter, for us to, be stable and for her to have an amazing, whether it's education, future, and to be just a young, happy, healthy, fun-loving little girl that she is. Like, it's about that as well. So adapting to what she needs, and then adapting to also what I need to continue to be that good mum for her. I remember when I was pregnant and AFL Women's just took off, and I was like, I sat back and I thought, wow, like, I'm pregnant and I'm watching the very first AFL Women's game, and I thought, wow, this could have been me, and I'll never get to that stage, and I'll never get it back, because you just think when you have a baby, your body's just going to go and never return. But I think then after having my daughter, it kind of just gave me even more, I guess, motivation. Like, I was like, you worked harder in the gym, you ran more, you just did everything at a higher rate because you want to be back at that level. And I was lucky enough to actually get an opportunity to play for NT Thunder and the VFLW. So it's not AFLW, but to me, that to still be able to get up to that stage and represent the Northern Territory after having a baby and watching, so many other women do it, all of the news stories that you see on Facebook in the news of, women coming back and having children and still being able to do it, like, those kind of people are who inspired me, because I could have just sat back and said, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'll never get to that stage again. But then you see other people can do it, and then you just know you can as well. So, yeah. Role models, I think, I know I've got a lot of them. And a lot of them, because I've got so many different hats, whether it's, my program management job with Girls Academy, whether it's, playing with NT Thunder, or, for Crocs in the NTFL, it's being a mother. You just have all, so you kind of choose different. So I guess with footy, obviously my dad is my biggest inspiration. Like, he's my role model when it comes to football, and he's the guy, I ring him up before games when I'm nervous. And even if all he has to say to me is good luck, bub, and I'm like, yep, cool. Like, that's it. That's all I need from him. So you find, like, all these inspiring people, like in the workplace, like you look for, people who, like, I remember Bo Dela Cruz was one of my program managers when I was younger, and she, you know, took me under her wing and, like, taught me a lot in that area of mentoring and how to mentor, you know, in a good way, and how to not only mentor but transition that to the community as well, so not just in the workplace. So I think she did a lot of that with me. And then there's people like, you know, you, Eleanor, who I've had the opportunity to, you know, dance with, dance under, you know, be taught by, be guided. Like, I think something special about me and you is you're, like, pretty much the original big sister that I had. And I think, yeah, watching you transition through life as well, and to, you know, come up with Queen Mode Collective, and, you know, this is something that I needed when I was younger, but I had it in you, which was amazing. So for more girls to actually get access to you and what you have to give and all your experiences, like, I think I envy them as young women to have that, but I did have that. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty grateful. And then I've also got my mum, you know, who is an amazing, like, mum. She's so nurturing and, like, really just does everything for her kids. And, you know, I look at her when it comes to being a mum as well. I've got, like, you know, friends that are single mothers. I've got friends who are just mothers as well, like, married with kids. So I look to them for, how can I be a good mum? Like, you know, what are they doing that I really love? And how can I transition that into my home and between me and Kamara as well? So yeah, you just have different role models also throughout life. So depending on your circumstances and where you're at in life. So I think you gravitate to those who are in a similar situation as you. And if they're not in the same situation, you still get things from them, like small things from them that, you know, are relevant to your situation. So yeah, role models everywhere. You don't need just one role model, and especially, like, the kind of person that I am and all the different hats that I wear in my life. So I've had to kind of gather up my role models. Right, so what do I love about being a woman in this time? It just immediately takes me back to 3 years ago, when I was pregnant and finding out the gender for my baby. And, you know, you go in, you get the ultrasound, and the midwife or nurse or radiologist says it's a girl, and there was just silence in the room because I was so shocked. And I just thought, wow, how can I be a mum to a girl? Like, I don't know how to do this. And I think it took me a couple of days just to kind of sit back and go, hey, like, I couldn't think of a better time to be bringing a girl into the world. And I genuinely thought this, like, I thought, wow, like, you know, AFL Women's was taking off. It was just about to launch. And I just thought that, you know, with sports and, you know, just women empowerment, there's more, you know, more ministers, like female ministers. It was more Aboriginal people, like women in power as well. So I just knew that it was a good time, and I couldn't have been more proud. And now that I've, I guess, matured and I've gone through all my experiences, I've had the opportunity to take a step back and just go, hey, La, like, you actually need to put yourself first. Even as a mum, you do have to put yourself first, because you can't be a good mum if you're tired. You can't be a good mum if you're not looking after yourself. You can't be a good mum if you're, you know, not having your own time or your own things and your own identity. So I think a part of my identity is that I am Kamara's mum, and that's just always going to be me. But it doesn't fully define who I am, because I have to empower myself and to be, I guess, strong and all those other things that you want to be for your daughter. You've got to look after yourself. You've got to chase your own dreams as well. She can come on those journeys, and that's why I choose a lot of the journeys that I do, because I know they're all things that, you know, are going to benefit her, whether it's now, whether it's down the track, or, you know, I want her to be a teenager going, wow, my mum did that. And yeah, because that's what I have for my parents as well. So I want that for her.